Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
TRACI ALLYN SHUR, the interim president and CEO of the Broward Health Foundation. How lucky can they get, Tracy?
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here, ANITA. I appreciate it.
You have so much to talk about, so much to offer, so much to let people know about the Broward Health. In other words, the foundation, of course, supports it. But Broward Health, isn't it a splendid group of centers and doctors and everyone?
It is. We are an amazing organization. I'm so proud to be working there. I'm starting my 10th year. And all I can say is when I go to work every day, I know that there are people around me that are extraordinary. And I'm so privileged to be in that company of such outstanding, dedicated, professional people, doctors, nurses, clinicians, everyone that works in the system. There's always someone that can be helpful, or there's always someone that is handling something in particular. So whenever you need help, there is always someone available and willing and ready to help you, which makes my job so much easier, and it lets me interact.
What were you doing before the 10 years?
I was the executive director for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation in South Florida, and I loved it. It is a wonderful organization, and I had the opportunity. Someone came after me and said, would you like to join Broward Health Foundation? And it was just a very exciting opportunity for me in my career, and I just took a leap of faith, and I've been very, very happy.
So you really have been in the helping world, haven't you?
I don't want to date myself, but it's over 30 years.
When a little girl that you wanted to help people?
High school. I was doing fundraising in high school. I was always the spearheader for anything charitable, anything like that. We had our high school yearbook. They left me to charity in the good and welfare of the yearbook. They said, of course, she's going to do something in philanthropy. So,
what is that, Tracy? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I've just always liked the fundraising world. I've always liked the field of philanthropy. I've always liked the feeling of giving back and being helpful and being doing something important. And I know every day when I go to work, I am doing something important in some way to someone. I'm making a difference. So I really feel good about that.
That is special. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people in the field of philanthropy and fundraising, but you have kind of like the light in your eyes that you get very excited when something good happens.
Yes.
And
you can't teach passion.
That's a good one. You have to remember. You
have to have
teach passion.
Yes,
okay.
Either you have it or you don't.
All right, so now you have this big job, and you've been, of course, working with Dennis so long, Stefanacci, who has been there, is just retired now, kind of retired. He's retired, but he can't keep a good man down.
He's still with me.
Right. But he... all of you have really created something pretty spectacular, because before he even came, things weren't as big as they are now. Somehow he saw something. He's a great visionary.
Yes.
And
definitely.
So it must have been harder for you to work with someone if they weren't a visionary, because you're a visionary.
Yes. Dennis just helped us take the talent that we have and use it and really grow it and reach out to the community and give them an opportunity to partner with us and to be engaged. And we follow, I love the rules of engagement. We give everyone that opportunity, and we do such wonderful things and such a broad spectrum of things. There's something for everybody at Broward Health Foundation. So we welcome everyone to join us.
So tell everybody, if you were giving them an elevator speech about someone didn't know who you were or where you're from, and you told them, what would you say about Broward Health?
Oh, God, that's a long elevator speech. But
it's okay.
I would say that Broward Health and Broward Health Foundation is an organization that is supportive and important for the community health of our community. And we are there 24/7 to raise money for projects and programs and equipment and the needs of the system to improve it, so that when people walk through or are taken to our facilities, we are the best that we can be and provide the most outstanding health care that we have to offer. And the foundation is what makes that happen, because we are the center of philanthropy, and what is needed is raised by the foundation. So all of the great stuff that we do, all of the projects that we have brought to fruition have come from the foundation.
So while we talk about some of those projects, I know that you have always been right there working. If everyone gets a phone call from TRACI, you better watch out. Just get your checkbook out because you're so passionate. It's true. What are some of the things that you've accomplished that you're so proud of?
Well, not me personally, but the whole team just finished our capital campaign to renovate the Children's Hospital. And that was just a glorious experience for the last 2 years. We were given a $10 million challenge grant by the Sala Foundation. And if we were successful in raising $10 million, they would match the $10 million. And we were successful. We raised it. We actually surpassed the goal. And we raised $22 million to renovate our Children's Hospital. And last week, they actually moved patients into the what will be the second phase of the project, which is our pediatric intensive care unit and our hematology oncology unit. And I walked the floors 2 weeks ago before everyone moved in. It is just the most beautiful facility with such thought and such care and such intelligence. It's just a beautiful facility. And if you have to be in a place like that with your child, a family would really be so comfortable and feel so loved and so attended to. It's just a beautiful place, and I encourage the community to come and see it when it is finally completed.
And this is to explain where exactly, because you have 4 hospitals.
Yes, this is at Broward Health Medical Center in Fort Lauderdale, which is our flagship hospital, and is a phased renovation project. So we just finished the 7th and 8th floor, and that will the rest of those 2 floors will be finished in the next 9 months, so probably May or June, and then we will be able to showcase that entire 2 floors. And then we will move on to the regular floors, pediatric floors, and our neonatal intensive care unit. So It's a long project, but it's just moving along on schedule, on budget, and it's just beautiful.
No one wants to go to a hospital,
No.
Of course. But when you have to go, especially if you have to go with a child, there has to be so much there, so many people thinking, doing, working for it, and you're watching your child, you're worrying, you have to be supported. And you have built in all those things.
Everything. There is something for every need you could possibly have in the Children's Hospital. The social workers, the therapists, the child life specialists, the nurses, the doctors, everyone that is involved in the Children's Hospital, some of the people that are there over 30 years. That tells you everything you need to know about a hospital. If someone wants to spend their life in a facility, it has to be special. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. And I have loved working there. That's really the reason that I came to Broward Health, was to be part of the Children's Hospital. And this was
I didn't know that.
9 years ago. It was a plan, a different plan. And there have been many iterations of our Children's Hospital. And we finally came to this point with the help of the Sala Foundation and made this hospital happen. And it is just...
That's right.
Just
people
thrilling.
May recognize this as the Chris Everett Hospital.
Yes.
So now, of course, it's the Sala Foundation.
Yes.
What is the exact name?
It will be the Sala Foundation Children's Hospital.
And that's very appropriate. Imagine someone writing a check for $10 million. It has to be good.
Yes, it has to feel very good.
Well, it has to, and somebody has really decided where they wanted to put the money, and they don't do that casually. So
No.
It took a while, and I know we've been fundraising so much for so many things, but okay, well, that's the big one. Now, let's come down a little bit, and you just had something very exciting happen, $1 million grant.
That was very exciting. Actually, on my first day as the interim president and CEO, talk about a
Didn't want you to leave.
kickoff.
They didn't want you to leave.
That was great. Yes, one of our very loved, longtime donors actually stepped up to $1 million gift to name our Neuroscience Institute at Broward Health North. And they've had a tremendous neuroscience program for memory disorder, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, anything neurological for over 30 years. And we are trying, our plan is to incorporate all of those services into one central location, private parking, private entrance, to make it more patient-friendly, more family-friendly, easier to navigate, and centralized, so that it's just a one-stop neurological institute. And that major $1 million gift is going to lead this campaign, and we are actively fundraising for that, and it's a very exciting
and
project.
Can we say who is it, anonymous? Or?
No, it is not anonymous. It's the Lillian S. Wells Foundation and our longtime friend Barbara Wells, who I love and adore.
That is amazing. Well, I know about that. The whole, used to call it the let's see, when I took my mother there, and it was actually called, let's see, Dr. Todd was there.
Yes.
And it was called the Memory Disorder Center.
Yes.
But I never called it that because my mother wouldn't go if it's a memory disorder. I just say it's a memory center, Mom.
Right.
We're going to help your memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the people there were so nice and smart. And so actually, maybe the University of Miami was a little bit ahead, but all these other places that have popped up, they never had done this before.
Yes.
You all were pioneers in this whole field, especially Dr. Todd.
Absolutely.
So what you're doing now is just the evolution.
Exactly.
And I am so happy to see this now. How much money are you wanting to raise to make this happen?
We'd probably like to raise at least $3 million for this project.
And you already
maybe
have
a little
$1
more.
million.
Yes.
That's excellent.
Yes.
Yay!
We're engaged. The rules of engagement. We're trying to engage more people to help us and to support this project because it's really needed. It's a big need in the community.
Oh, absolutely. And so, will it be a separate building or a wing?
No, it will be actually part of the complex, but it will have a separate entrance and parking area so that you can just access it very easily when you get to Broward Health North.
Yeah, so we all know that Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and so many of the neurological diseases, they are really being worked on very hard now.
Yes.
We know that. And I'm so pleased to hear that it's moving along. Of course, Broward North is doing a lot of other things.
Oh, yes. They're very busy over there. Yes, they're doing a lot of renovation. Their operating rooms have all been renovated. Their emergency room has been renovated. It's going to be an amazing facility when they are finished. Yes.
So Pauline Grant, the CEO, was here not too long ago, and she's, in her little way, she's such a dynamo. She just keeps talking, and it just keeps working. And
she is
of course, she's the
spectacular.
acting CEO of all of Broward Health.
Correct. We are in very capable hands. She is really doing a wonderful job. Everyone adores her. And
when she speaks, people listen.
They do.
Isn't
they
it amazing?
do. And she's got a wonderful, positive. She knows all the good things because she's been with us for so long, and she's really been a wonderful leader in pointing us in the positive direction and showing all of our gifts and our talents that we bring to the community as a hospital system. She's been amazing.
Yes, she has. And so Broward North is, I'm not going to say it's been a forgotten system, but it's really been up in the North End.
Yes.
And, of course, I live more towards that. Mm-hmm. But it hasn't gotten all the upbeat because maybe it was there. It may have been wasn't the first one. The one downtown was the first one.
Yes, that's the oldest. That's
I don't know if this is the second or not.
I think this might be the second.
Right. So recently I was out at Coral Springs. Now, that's a big, exciting place.
Oh, yes. Lots going on up there, too.
Because it's a big family-oriented place. I mean, everyone's moving to Coral Springs. Yes. In fact, there's a vet I have to go visit there because they have a wonderful veterinarian hospital and they have great oncologists.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to get someone for the Cure Symposium from that hospital. And I got to drive around Coral Springs a lot. And that is an exciting place. So we have a hospital there now.
Yes.
And Drew, I believe, is going to be the CEO.
Yes, Drew Grossman.
And he's trying to make this important.
Also amazing. Love working with him. We are also one of the projects that the foundation is spearheading is the creation of a new neonatal intensive care unit at Broward Health Coral Springs to make all the rooms private. So it will be a smaller version of the NICU that we have created or will be creating at Broward Health Medical Center, but a little bit smaller. And we are also actively seeking donations for that and to expand the women and children's services up in Coral Springs. That's a major project for us. Well, and also exciting.
You know, it's interesting that there are so many hospitals now changing the look of a hospital.
Yes.
When you talk about the women and the children, it used to be you got sick, you went to the hospital. But now this area is for this and this area is for that. And,
yes.
And it's not that joyful. I mean, we don't mean going to hospital is joyful, but you're making it as beneficial and attractive as you can. And that brings me back to the new point of the art.
Yes.
That was a wonderful idea, and I know that came from Dennis.
Oh, yes.
You ought to share that and what that all is.
Yes, we are actually installing art donor walls in all of the hospitals. We have 2 that are already up and 2 that will be installed. The one up in Coral Springs and the one in at Broward Health North will be installed hopefully in 2017. But the one in Broward Health Medical Center is an interactive wall where if you stand in front of it, your image will pick up the names of the donor walls and they will appear in your image. and it is constantly moving and changing. It's just fascinating to stand in front of it. And the one up at Imperial Point also is just a beautifully, all names and all. It's very colorful. It's very much in keeping with the CEO there, Alice Taylor. It just is reminiscent. She's a very alive and vibrant lady, and her donor wall reflects that. And the other two are also going to be interactive, and it's just a fascinating project, and it's bringing art to the workplace.
Well, and what it also does is it says to the donor, you're not just up there in a little plaque.
No.
You're alive, you're interesting, we appreciate it, and people get to look at it and say, well, I'd like to have something like that, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. And we encourage that. Every year we put up a new donor wall and we change the names, and my pleasure to add your name to our donor wall, yes.
Well, and I think that it's a good time now that you mentioned that I want to reintroduce you. This is TRACI ALLYN SHUR, who is the interim president and CEO of the Broward Health Foundation. And if you would like to talk with her, donate money, it's very important that you call 954-355-5148. Again, that's 954-355-5148. And you can see she's very encouraging. She's very enthusiastic. And if you want to donate, you will see even more enthusiasm. But the website is browardhealthfoundation.org, browardhealthfoundation.org. And right now, of course, you're working on the big, it's going to be in May, and we're still, of course, in 2016. But you've been so successful at the Broward Health Foundation Ball.
Yes.
I don't think anyone does a ball as outrageous as you.
I have to agree with you, Anita. It is the most beautiful, spectacular, thrilling evening of the entire year for me. I love that event, and the staff and everyone that is involved. I have a large committee, and we are all passionate about this event, and it is beautiful.
And I'm sure you're working on it right now.
I actually have started to work on it. Yes, I have.
And I remember the last one, they were trying to close the gap to make the $10 million.
Yes.
And that's when it went over, and we had one donation of $50,000. And I mean, this was amazing. I sat there saying, where is this all coming from?
It was just thrilling. The community really rallies at that event, and there were so many people that step up that night and are generous to us, and it's just really exciting. And we direct the money to specific programs, so at the end of the evening, everyone really does feel involved and supportive because the money is going somewhere specific, and it's just very exciting.
So what you're really looking for, of course, are people who are interested in donating, and they want to be recognized. Most do. Some people are anonymous.
Yes.
They want to be recognized that they appreciate what I would say the nurses, the doctors, the staff do. And that's a good time to talk about the doctors, I think, because I do a lot with the Broward Health Imperial Point.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over the doctors. I mean, have them on the radio show, and they could be a spectacular doctor, but what makes them so articulate also? They stand in front of the mic and they just talk. I say, how can they do that?
It's great. It's really, some of them are just so gifted, and just to listen to them, it's fascinating what they do. Fascinating. I know that when I have the opportunity to hear any of them speak, I do go because I find it fascinating.
It's funny. I was at a Broward Women's Alliance. I probably should take you to that.
Oh,
one
I'd
day.
love to
I
go.
will take you that.
Thank you.
Very special organization. And I met the wife of Dr. Levine. I don't know who he is, but he is apparently a surgeon dealing with esophagus cancer, oncology. And she said, when she heard about the Cure Symposium, she said, please call my husband. He would love to do that. And I said, well, where does he work? I didn't know. She said, at Broward Health Imperial Point. I said, I'm going to call him.
Yes.
So, and she was so excited. And so they do have a lot of fantastic doctors. In fact, I've had both of them, but at one time, I guess a few weeks ago, I had, it's really gone out of my brain now. There are three heart surgeons, Dr. Zachariah and Dr. Zachariah and Dr. Zachariah.
Yes.
And his wife came in the morning with
Yes.
him. And then Dr. Zachariah, the other Dr. Zachariah, was actually at the Cure Symposium.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was a coup for you to get.
Oh, yes.
the
I know him a long
Zacharias.
time. He's an outstanding physician and a really nice man. Yes.
So you see, a lot of that is very important.
Yes.
And I don't ever remember thinking about doctors and hospitals going together. I just let you go to the hospital, whatever doctor's there, the doctor's there.
Mm-mm.
But you are finding the great doctors and bringing them into the hospitals, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, that's a goal, and we are being very successful at that. Yes, it's important. I think it's very important.
So I go to the community relations meetings.
Yes.
I've been going to the one over there in Imperial Point, and you really do involve the community. And that's a secret, I think, isn't it, of getting the community to support that hospital so they all have a part in it.
Yes. Yes, that's what the Community Relations Council is designed to do, for the leadership to bring out in the community so that they are the ambassadors and the emissaries, talking about the healthcare, talking about our projects, talking about what we are doing to help them should they need us. And they're the best ambassadors we possibly could have to tell our story.
And do you have them, the one that I go in Bureau Point, do they have one at every one?
We have one at every hospital, and someone from the foundation goes to one of those meetings every month.
Oh.
So there's someone on the foundation staff that is part of every community relations council so that we can see what's going on. As a team, we know what everyone is doing.
Right. And so I really ought to be going to some of the others just because I like to know, since I'm all over in a sense. I'd like to know what those people are thinking, because that's really important. As you said, they are your ambassadors.
Sure.
And it's funny, even before the Zika virus, was around, the Zika mosquito, excuse me. I remember hearing something about it there at the hospital. It wasn't even very much, but they started just a little bit of that.
They're very proactive. One thing I will say about this, as a system, I found very impressive as a consumer. They're very proactive. Whenever something is happening in the world, in the community, they are right there on it, putting it out there in our marketing department, in our communications. We are very on top of what's happening around our community as the community hospital. We do a good job with that, I think.
And they did that with Flocka.
Oh, yes.
Remember it happened?
Yes.
There were I guess there were a couple of people from law enforcement, and they said the worst thing that's just happened, they brought up something called Flocka. Who knew what that was? And all of a sudden,
yes,
it was really emphasized.
They're very proactive.
So that's a very good point. Well, hospital boards, and that's something to talk about. The hospital board of the Broward Health Foundation, is enormous.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it started, I wasn't there when it happened, but someone said that there were 7 people, and now I think we have 25 correct. Or 26 or...
Yes, that's correct. And we are, and I would love to include a few more people in the community that would like to join us, that want to work and want to be contributing members of the board. Yes.
So if any of our listeners have some, we hope that you have a big business of some sort that you can help with, or that you have deep pockets, because it's really important. This is a great opportunity. We have lots of cultural organizations wanting money, and everyone wants money. As a donor, you really have a lot of choices, but all you need to go is to a hospital, one of the Broward Health hospitals, and just go into the lobby even and see the people coming in and leaving, and knowing that if there were to be a major emergency in our county and everybody had to go to a hospital, heaven forbid this doesn't happen, they're really prepared. I'm sure that's what they're doing, a lot of that now, aren't they?
Very prepared. Actually, I went to a preparedness training for all of the leadership of Broward Health. It was a huge amount of people, and all of the emergency preparedness staff did a presentation about what we do, who does what, all of the roles and responsibilities for all of the managers throughout the entire system. We are a very well-oiled machine when it comes to hurricanes or any kind of a disaster. We're definitely prepared. There is a very impressive protocol in place. And this was the first time I'd ever been through that, and I was very impressed.
And urgent care.
Yes.
I think we're doing some urgent care centers, too.
A lot of new centers are opening. We are actually on the radio doing a lot of promotions of Broward Health emergency services and urgent care centers on the radio. We've got a lot of buzz happening. We have some amazing emergency facilities.
And that's because if you're closed, hospitals are never closed.
No.
But an urgent care center, what really happens in your urgent care center?
I mean, those are not, those are for, I would say, a little bit more minor of an emergency that wouldn't necessarily require an emergency room visit. And they're open and available for a sprain or a high fever or a cough.
So when your doctor is closed,
exactly,
and you go there,
you cut your finger, something that requires medical attention but is not what I would call emergent. So yeah, they're very well staffed, and people go to them a lot.
So the Broward Health Foundation is an organization that's really there to say, all right, hospitals, what do you need, right?
Exactly.
And so how do you look at this? How do you know what you can do now and what you have to do later? I mean, they all want it now.
Yes, but we're very strategic. I mean, we have a strategic planning committee. We meet with the CEOs every year, and we discuss their needs and what they need help with and what we can help philanthropically for them to realize. And we only raise funds for things that they need. You just can't walk in and say, I'd like you to buy this for me. That doesn't happen that way. Of course, I would try to help in any way that I could. If I met someone that had an interest in something that was needed that wasn't planned for, sure, I'll help you. But we are very strategic. All the CEOs have a plan every year or over multiple years, as the NICU for Coral Springs is a multiple-year project. The Neuroscience Center is a multiple-year project. The Children's Hospital was a multiple-year project. So those three hospitals are really taken care of for the next couple of years, working on these projects from the foundation side.
So now when you see anything about the Broward Health, you probably won't see anything about the foundation, but just Broward Health hospitals in general, you'll know how it all works. It just doesn't happen with a snap of the finger. It happens with people like TRACI working very hard at the helm, and all her staff, and all the board members, and all the doctors, and all the CEOs of the various hospitals. It is a big issue. And before we leave, what is the budget for the? When we think about, we have a lot of money that we have to raise. I mean, what would you say now you have to raise to be successful in the next?
We're looking to raise almost $5 million this year,
right? Of which some is going to the science, over there,
yes.
And then the other going to Coral Springs?
Some hopefully will be going to Coral Springs, yes. And
so
the rest
$5 million is what you need to raise.
I upped it a little bit. That's the good fundraise for me. I upped it a little bit. Yes.
But you'll be happy if somehow we can put all that together, and then you make everyone happy.
I would be delighted.
There's the next year.
Yes.
It never stops.
Always forward thinking.
TRACI.
Always. No.
That's great. Well, they're lucky to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming here and doing this
with us. Thank you. My pleasure
to
have me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I just want to tell everybody, go to BrowardHealthFoundation.org and write a check.